Yep, you can see the main project window that I'll be putting tracks into, pretty much. So, all right, so we're a little late, but it's all good. And today I will be doing a Stumpinar on sound design, and pretty much how it is art and the how people interpret things, pretty much. And we're going to do this by creating a sound effect from a bunch of raw recorded sounds, pretty much. And so I've done a lot of the more time-consuming work, which consists mostly of finding the sounds I wanted to use. And I also recorded, or I edited together a demo file to see what it sounds like, pretty much. So the sound effect that we want to make is a sound of Rand al'Thor channeling and creating a big bolt of lightning like he does in the Battle of Cairhien. So in this sound, you will hear Rand embracing the source and noticing that there's a little bit of taint there, and then channeling some air and some fire, which eventually turns into electricity, and then a big blast, which makes some rocks fall. And it's actually a more subtle sound than I liked when I listened to it again, the sample sound. So we're actually going to try and make it a little bit more impressive, I suppose, in this try. And that's fine, because really there is no right or wrong way to do things. Like, everyone's going to criticize a piece of art no matter what you do. Like, well, there's going to be someone who criticizes it. So let's hear the demo sound, and it sounds like this. So some of those sounds are a little bit weird, and that's totally fine, because I decided to interpret this as not a weather control kind of thing, but more like the heat lightning sort of thing, instead of lightning that comes from cloud formations. So you could hear some, fire and some air going on there, and then some electric sparking. And so that was really nice, I suppose. I don't know what you thought of it, but whatever you did, it was cool. And interestingly enough, people generally don't give you those sounds pre-designed. Like, you have to design them yourself, because it's a very, very specialized. So here I have the raw assets I'm going to be using. So here they are. I've got 12 files here, and they're all going to be combined to make this. So here is the sound we're going to use for Rand embracing the source. It's this. It's one of these drones here, and I've kept a few in there so I can do some cutting, pretty much, and decide which one to use. So here it is. So this is just the flame in the void, pretty much. This is when he's in the void and embracing the source. Fine. And then here is the sound of the taint. And what I wanted here for the taint was like a kind of squeaking, but not horribly like noticeable, but still there, noise. And so I decided to adapt this metal sliding sound here, and it sounds like this. And we're going to be editing this down to what you heard in the sample file here. So very jarring, and this is good. So actually what I meant to do was send you guys a link with all of these files so you could actually mess with them at a later time, but I can do that after the talk. So we'll worry about that later. So that was the sound of the taint pretty much. So here is the sound of the air. This is the sound of a little bit of air movement. It's like a whooshing fast air movement here. So this is actually what I used to show the fire and air coalescing into making lightning. This is the beginning sound of the air, of him basically channeling air here. And we're not going to use this whole thing. We're just going to use like the first part of it with the gusting. But it's fine. And then we have a bunch of sounds of lightning like this. This is the sound of the lightning actually searing through people, pretty much. That's the initial spark here. And that's the sound of the electricity like powering up before he fires it off. This is the sound of the electricity basically boiling. You can hear a lot of sparking over here. This is actually the sound of an electrified wood branch sparking. Someone set electricity to a branch and recorded, like to a tree branch, and recorded what it sounded like. This here is the explosion. Well, actually, that's the sound of that's the pre-sound of the explosion, one of those two. And then here's the explosion of the thing hitting. You can hear a little conflagration there. And here is we have a little bit of sweetener sounds, which are just rocks falling, to add a little bit of punch and so that it doesn't just sound like a boom and then just kind of dead silence. So here is a little bit of rocks falling and a little bit more rocks falling. Excellent. So all of those will form this sound approximately. Remember that it won't sound exactly the same. So it'll sound like this. So now that you've heard all the sound parts, you'll be able to make out these parts in the full file. So here are the full file. Cool. All right, so let's get started. And usually what I like to do is start with a big drone. And so we are going to load this into the main project file and use that as our base. So, here it is. I'm just going to turn off this preview. We don't need that. We don't need that. Okay. Whoa. Oops, I'm gonna have to import this actually, so this is fine. And okay, let's import this audio. Yes, excellent. I want this. So you should be able to see a track here, which is called Drone Low Resonate or whatever it is, and that's the one we want. And how long is it? It's 9 seconds. We will want to actually stretch this out so that it's long enough to support the entire file, because that file that you heard was longer than 9 seconds. Actually, I need to change my output device to the correct one. There it is. So I am going to stretch out this thing. And so we're going to use a change tempo effect to slow it way down. We're going to slow it down to half speed. So let's do that now. Negative 50%. Yeah. And for speech, you really don't need to do this. Oops, we don't need high quality stretching. But for this kind of file, it doesn't really matter because it's all interpretive anyway. So let's do that. And you just saw the file got way longer. So let's listen to what this sounds like, because it's always important to listen to what stuff sounds like to see whether you actually like it. Because I could go back there and use a different effect, like a pulse stretch, and it would sound different. So let's listen to this. Okay, that sounds fine. And I'm actually going to shave off the silence here. Now I think that was fine. So let's, and I actually want to, so this is fine, this is okay. So I've selected that bit of audio and I'm just gonna snap it and it's gone. So now we have this, the background noise starts. So let's do, let's fix up the taint audio right here. And I'm actually going to just use, because this is important, I'm going to use this file to pull that in. For a lot of these, I probably won't. So here's the dry ice metal squeak file I was telling you about. And when I'm working with multiple files like this, I usually turn on solo mode for the file I'm working on. And I'm going to do that with the Shift-S command here. And now you see the little S button, or the solo button to the left of the track is filled in. So that means that only it will play when I press this play button here. Excellent. So in order to take off a bunch of those low frequencies of the metal squeaking, we just want the squeaking of the dry ice and like a little bit of the high on the metal. We're going to use the high pass filter right here. So let's do that. So 900 hertz, this is the frequency. Any frequencies below this one will be basically lowered in volume by this roll-off dB. So pretty much what this means is as it gets lower, like when you get all the way to basically what it means is it'll get quieter as your dBs, as your frequency goes down. So 24 is fine, and I'm just gonna keep this as it is. I could change it a little bit, but I think this sounds fine. We're gonna use the preview button to see what it sounds like, because that's really useful. Come on. Actually, I want more of a I want a stronger filter, so I'm gonna change this to 1800, which will make it actually attenuate twice as much, twice as high frequencies. And let's do this. And this is closer to what I had the sample audio sounding like. So we're going to keep that. Oops. And all right. So this is also a little bit too short. It's not long enough to fit this other file, so I'm going to change the tempo on this and change tempo on this also to about half. And let's use the preview function. It sounds a little bit stretchy, a little bit broken. And this is actually something we might be able to solve with high quality stretching. So let's see what that does. And this is going to take a long time to do because like the preview takes forever to load up because high quality stretching takes forever. And I actually like this better than what I had on the sample file. So I'm gonna use this high quality stretching. So this is actually, ooh, look at how long that's taking. All right, so Now we can listen to the whole file and see what it sounds like. So the other thing here is that there's like silences in this file, and I really don't like that because it's supposed to be like a constant taint. Rand's always noticing this horrible thing, pretty much. So we're going to truncate all that silence off. And negative 50 is fine. Negative 50 is like room tone. And let's just change this to 0.1 seconds of silence so that we get all of it. And let's do it. Okay. Let's just do it again. Let's make sure we didn't cut off something we didn't want to. Okay, better. Much better. So now I'm going to turn the solo button off of this and listen to what they sound like together. So this is our background pretty much of, this is Rand totally in the void, getting ready to do random stuff. So here it is. And now we might know, in my opinion, the taint sound is probably a little too loud. It would be, it's so loud, it's jarring to anyone listening. We want to make it a little more subtle. So let's turn that down a little bit, and we can do this either with the amplify function or with the track gain function, and either one is fine. Usually I use the track gain function just because I don't have to worry. The processing time doesn't take any processing time. So let's gain this down by 6 decibels. There we go. And I've known, this is mostly from experience, that 6 decibels is a noticeable but not inaudible decrease in volume. Negative 12 is like half, so this is like, but since volume runs on the logarithmic scale and not like on a straight number scale because of the way our ears perceive volume, it's like 2/3 of the volume that we're like at right now. So let's listen to it again. We need to lower it more. It's too loud still. There we go. So now it's like a lot more subtle. Okay, so another track we need to add is the air, him channeling air, and I'm going to open up another Audacity window, cut the amount of wind I want. I don't need all of it. I only need about 5 seconds of it. You won't see this, but it also will. It also won't take long, and you'll just see like a shortened wind track. I'll play it for you when I'm done. It'll take like 20 seconds. So let's do that real quick here. You'll be able to hear the audio still as I'm cutting it. So I really Oh, we need to switch the project rate to 48,000 because otherwise it doesn't work. There it is. So I'm just cutting off the silence here, and that should be enough. And I'll just cut all that off and paste it into this track here. So we're just going to add another stereo track up below here. Every track is like a layer and has part of the file on it. So let's listen to the file, place it somewhere a little bit after we hear the sound start. And like around here at about 2 seconds. There we go. This is good. I'll be fading off that wind sound so it doesn't sound like it just cuts off in the middle of it later, but we'll do that later. I'm going to actually turn the wind sound down by a good amount, maybe 14 decibels, because we really don't need that much noise here. That's probably too much. I'll switch it to like -7. That should be fine. And let's get a little bit of channeling fire in here. So where is it? Here. So I'll do the same thing here and just cut the sound in another window because it's fine. Actually, this doesn't really need cutting. This might just need like a bit of a volume adjustment. So, excellent. You guys keeping up fine? Or can you see what's going on here with this window? Let's see. I'm gonna paste this here a little bit after the wind starts because there's a bit of a fade in. So, let's do it. I'm just going to actually I want to paste it in a little bit later just because that fire sound comes to its climax way before the wind does. So let's do that. Let's paste it around here and let's pull the gain on this down to about -10 because it's way louder than the wind. So this is good. The fire actually might be too blended with that now. I could hear it, but barely. So I'm going to turn it to -6 to see what it sounds like. Excellent. This is good. So now they need to coalesce into some electrics. So let's do that. I'm closing windows here, and let's see. No. We're going to use this electrify wood. Well, what's this? That's right. So here is the electrified wood branch file. This is just another cutting job, and this is a really long file. This file is 52 seconds long. We don't need that many seconds. We only need about 10. So I'm just going to listen to it, find a part that I like, and then cut. So let's do that. Oops. This is the part, I think I just used the beginning part of this for the sample sound. But there might be a cooler part that I like later on. So this is actually like, this is the cool part about sound design. This is how you know it's an art form. Because often you can tell about like what people care about if they're doing sound design by, you know, what they put in to their work. So some people are more flamboyant and some people are more conservative, and some people like listening to higher frequencies instead of lower frequencies more, and you'll notice. So here is like that really like annoying buzz near the end was I won't use that, but there are people who would, I know. So let's I'm just gonna cut off some. I really like this beginning part still because of all the hissing and the sparking you can hear. So let's do that. Okay, that should be enough. We've done that. Let's put it in. I should be naming these tracks for you guys. So let's name this Air, Channeling Air. Let's name this Channeling Fire. Let's name this Electric 1. Okay. And so we're going to put this right when we hear that little fire go whoosh, and like when we hear it hit coalesce on both sides. So about around there. We actually want to put a little before so we can fade it in. So we're actually going to put a little bit there so we can fade it in. Oops, I put in an extra track. My bad. Yeah, so this is good. And this 16 seconds, perfect. That should give us plenty of time to explode and make some stuff go boom and all that good stuff. So I want to actually fade in this bit so it comes in at the same time the fire coalesces to the middle. So that's the amount I want to fade it in. Fade it in. There we go. Boom. you can see the volume on the sound goes ramps sharply upward. Hopefully, I don't know if you can actually see that, but that's the theory anyway. And so let's listen to what we have so far. This is always important. Sometimes people get bogged down listening to just one little thing and then forget the big picture, and like, you know, the sound could go too long, everything might get too loud, then you have to deal with leveling it out later, which can be really annoying. So yeah, this is good. This is good. I'm happy. We actually might cut off of this, cut off that bit when we get to the part where the lightning actually gets fired. So around this time, we add in the part where he actually unleashes the lightning and hits stuff with it. So electricity throw 3, here it is, and this will just be pretty much a straight add because I didn't have to do any cutting on this file. There are some files, especially the designed files, which you can just straight add into your project, so that's pretty cool. So that's what that sounds like, and then let's put it in. I'm just gonna add in another track, call it electricity throw, because that's what he's doing. So let's find a good place for it. So we want to make sure it's before the fire, but we can actually put it a little bit during the fire because the build-up is pretty long. No, that's too far. Okay, and then let's put it in. Oh, oops, I pasted the wrong file. That was my bad. I pasted the tree branch arcing file by accident. Huh. Excellent. So now we can show the lightning bolt hitting something. So we have that little fire explosion right here. So I need to pick which one I want. So let's do that. Okay. So we want this one? Nah. We want that one. Sounds good. I like that one kind of. No. Maybe. Maybe so. No. So there are some that are too abrupt there. So I've narrowed it down to 3. So I'll listen to it again and pick out the one I want. It'll probably be the second one I heard, or the 5th one, but probably the second one. So let's do that. No. Do I want that one? Yes, I want that one. So let's pull that one out. That's good. And let's paste in that little bit. Blast start. Okay. I name my track that, and we want to pretty much make it so that you hear the sound when the lightning powers up. So around here. Oops. Wait. I didn't mean to. I meant to add a stereo track. Yeah, this is fine. Blast start. Wait. Yep, okay. So actually this sound kind of gets buried. So we actually want to lower the sound of the electricity here by a good amount, because we do want to hear that sound. So there we go. And we actually might move that sound a little to the right. So I'm going to do that. This is better, yes. So we're gonna actually lower the volume on this. Let's see. I lowered the volume on the whole track. I might just de-amplify that bit of it, which is the reason why we use the amplify effect anyway. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You can still hear everything there, so that's good. So now we need to add the explosion, like the actual boom. And then we can start adding in little like lightning after effects to it. So let's get this file here. This is just another straight add. I don't have to do any cutting off the end here because these this sound comes pre-cut all the way, which is pretty neat actually. I kind of like that. So let's do that. That's what that sounds like. And actually what I want to do here is add a little bit of punch to the top end of the sound because it's very bassy, I guess. Or there's very little treble in there, and I want to add a little punch to the treble. So, we'll go about here. Let's paste it in. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, it kind of gets buried with all the other sounds, pretty much. So we're gonna go into the bass and treble settings here and crank up some stuff. Let's see what this sounds like. Wait, huh? Oh, what's it called? It plays everything even though we don't want it to, which is, I guess, fine, but okay. Let's go. Huh. I think I still want some treble. Especially on the part with the debris at the end. I really want treble on the debris part. Well, that will do for the main part of it, I guess. So I'll push this to 8. Apply it. Okay, there we go. This is different from the other stuff, so this is fine. Cool. So I really want to crank up the treble on the debris because I like debris. Debris is cool. And let's do that really quick. So now we have that little bit of debris, and we're going to crank the treble up on the debris like a lot. So 0, and let's put this at 8, and let's see what happens. Ooh, better. Yes. Much better. Let's apply that. Excellent. So, oops. Okay. So now we can add some electricity effects because we got the boom. We have the, you know, all the cool channeling bit at the beginning. So let's just add some. Let's go crazy with some electricity. So we're gonna add a big spark, which goes off at the same time that the boom does. Here's electric sparks. I think this is the one we want. Let's see. I think this will be another straight add without cutting. Oh wait, no, we don't want this one until later. We'll keep it in reserve because I do want to show a cool thing with that. Come on. CPU freaking intensive. So I actually want to make this, this is probably fine the way it is. I kind of want to slow it down a little, not all the way as slow as what we had here. So we're going to slow it to like -20%, and we'll see what it sounds like with the high quality stretching. And if it sounds stupid, we'll turn it off. Come on. Oh, that sounds horrible. Let's turn it off. And that's totally fine. Yeah, because in the sample file, I felt like that really ended too fast. So let's put it on. Sparks 1, okay. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, that sounds good. It mixes well with the other electricity crackling noises that we have. So this is good. So here, I have this sound here. And if I add this, if I just add this in, without any effects or anything on it. If I just add this in raw, it will sound really like boxy because of everything else being like wide. This will sound, this is very narrow. This is actually not a stereo sound pretty much, but we can actually make it stereo, which is the cool part about, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to copy this in, and actually I'm going to paste it in first, and then double it up on the master track so you can watch it. So let's do that real quick. So where do I want to put it? I want to put it around here. I want to put it at the same place around here. All right, so let's paste another copy onto this track here. So we have, so I'm going to call this Sparks Left and call this Sparks Right. So I'm going to change the gain on both of these to half so that they're not overly loud. So let's do that. So if I solo these tracks, you'll see they're both in the center channel. Fine, they still sound the same. So let's pan them to the left. Let's pan this one to -0.5. That's 50% to the left, so you'll be able to hear more, like double through your left speaker than your right speaker if you took off one of your headphones and just listen to it with one of them. And let's do the same thing to the right one here, and this pans it to the right. Excellent. And let's listen to it again. You'll see that that's weird. It sounds a little bit to the left, which is fine. But really, the trick here to make it sound wider, because it still sounds very narrow, is to delay one of them by a little bit. So let's delay the right one by a little bit. And you can do this by either dragging the track a little to the right, which I don't feel like doing, or by just doing a little bit of silence generation, which I'll do here. It only has to be about 100 milliseconds is fine. 50, not like 40 to 80 milliseconds is fine. So we need to change this to 0. And there's 41 milliseconds right there. And let's listen to it now. Oops. Oh, what? Oh, oops, I inserted silence on both tracks. That makes it pointless. Let's do it again. There we go. Excellent. So, oops, we forgot to change the gain on this track to -6, which is why it sounded weird. That's weird. Why won't the track gain change? There we go. Perfect. So now you can hear it sounds a lot wider because of adding that little bit of extra silence, because that pretty much pulls the sound waves out of phase. So when the sound waves are in phase, your ears do some really cool math, like really quick. Well, your brain does the math. Your brain does some really cool math, and pretty much just adds those two waves up, so it sounds like they're in the center. But when you pull them out of phase, the way I did by adding the silence onto one of them, it makes it sound like they're wider. So that's a cool sound technique if you don't actually have stereo microphones, and you want to make something sound pretty wide. You can do that, and it works to, you know, a certain degree of success, depending on what you have and all that business. Like if you're trying to record a concert and you record it in mono by accident, well, that's kind of too bad for you, because if you do this thing, it'll just make it sound stupid. But for small sounds like this, you know, cool. So let's see what this sounds like here. I want to hear what this explosion sounds like, because I've been talking for a long time and I forgot already. So, oh, I forgot my, there we go. We actually can probably turn these all up a little bit. These are a little bit quiet. So let's turn these to -3. Actually, I'm going to turn these to 0 and see what they sound like. For some reason, these gain numbers don't seem to always change correctly. And that's totally fine. So let's finish up by adding some by adding some rocks falling. Actually, I'll probably only add one of them, and that's totally fine, because it's already pretty loud, and there is such a thing as having too much going on at the same time. And then we're going to just cut off the ends, and then we'll be done. So let's see what this sounds like. And I really like the high-end configuration on here too, so I'm going to do the same thing with the other thing here and crank the treble up by 8. So I'll just do this right here. There we go. And let's add it in really quick. All right, that's fine. All right, so now, beautiful, beautiful, and let me get rid of this empty track here because there's no point to having it. Goodbye. I want to turn all of these sounds, all of this stuff, starting with the explosion. Actually, no, I want to turn this electrified wood branch sound down amount. So let me turn that off. Here it is. We'll gain that down to -6. So now we need to cut off some of these, sometimes the gain knobs on these things just don't work. So we actually need to cut off some of these, especially those two sounds here, sparks left and sparks right. They just cut off abruptly, and that's really bad. You never want to do that. So we're going to put a smooth fade on both of these. So let's do that. So that's fine. We'll just fade that out. Yeah, I'll fade about a second out from both of these. So these fade out. This is a linear fade ramp, and there are actually different kinds of fades. Audacity just does the linear ones, but there's also exponential and logarithmic fading, which have a quicker increase, pretty much like a higher slope of ramp when you fade out. So this is just a smooth, steady fade out. So that's fine. And now we're going to fade out the sounds of Rand channeling and feeling the Dark One's taint. So let's do that real quick by selecting this file and this file and fading them out. And actually, this is nice. This actually is about the same length. So I actually might want to take off the taint. The taint is kind of sticking out there. I'm gonna take off some of the taint audio here. And because you can probably cut this off and people will barely notice. So let's do that. Oh, that still cuts off, so I need to fade this out even more. There we go. There we go. Okay, perfect. So let's listen to the completed file and see if we need to make any last second and any last minute adjustments. So. Sounds pretty good, huh? And I actually like this better than the sample file. So I'm gonna save this project file with all these tracks, just to keep it. Oop. What's copy? Huh? Oh, project dependencies. Yeah, we should copy all the files in. It's a good idea. Copy all files. Let's do this really quick. It's doing it. It's thinking, it's thinking, it's thinking. And so that's saved now. Perfect. So this project file, no one without Audacity can listen to it, and no games can play it, or no movies can play it. So we need to export and render this down. So let's do that real quick. So take a minute to admire the 13 layers of audio we have here. And then we're going to pull them all down into one thing. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to go mix and render. The worst thing, besides completely deleting the whole thing. The worst thing you can do here is select mix stereo down to mono. That will pretty much like kill all the coolness of this thing by making it one channel. So let's do that real quick, and we can always click the undo button and see what it sounds like. It doesn't sound very cool. So let's do that real quick. It's going, and let's do it. Boring. Yeah, really boring. Okay, so let's do the mix, and it's gonna go all the way down to one track. Excellent. There we go. So we can actually export this as we can export this file as an MP3 file. So I'm going to do that right here, and real quick here. Oops, not here. Ah, come on. I'm just gonna go right in here. Oops. MP is fine for now. This will export it to an MP3 file, which can be played on literally any device, any phone, any music player made in the last 15 years, I would say. Maybe 13 years. So let's just do this real quick. And it's going, it's thinking through what it wants to do. Oops. Let's fix this up. This is a really high quality sample rate. That's another thing. This is a really high quality sample rate so that I don't lose any data when bringing the files in. Because these files are extremely high quality files that I was using from some libraries, some premium libraries. So, yes, this is totally fine. Well, that's it. So that is how I would make a sound effect, and it only took, the actual editing only took about 30 minutes. With me talking through it, I would probably do this in like 20 minutes if I wasn't talking through it. But the thing that takes long is finding the actual files. So we can just finish up by listening to the original sample file and what I have here. So let's do that real quick. Where did I put this? Oh, I put this in sound demos by accident. Let's fix that. Come on, come on, come on. MP. All right, so here they are. Come on, there we go. So this is our file that we just finished. And here's the sample file. So here, you can see there's a few differences, like the cutoff is a bit more abrupt on the sample file. You can hear the rocks kind of sounding hollow in the second file because of some reverb I tried to put on them. Didn't really work out, so I didn't do it this time. But yeah, that's it. So Q&A, if anyone has any questions, I'll be in here for a while. I'll keep the recording running for a little while. And yes, we have done what we set out to do here, which is make Rand channel some lightning and make a big explosion because, you know, Rand's cool like that. So there we go. Let's see. Did I gain any listeners? Oh, I didn't look at the chat box once. Sorry, guys. Come on. It's fine. It's totally fine. Let's see if I have any chat messages. Oh, because it's in here. Oh, because it's in here. Oh, good. No one said anything. Good. Perfect. Oh. Choosing the sound effects that you want to use takes a long time for me, just because I'm very picky about what I want things to sound like. I do have, like, I have gigabytes of sound files that I can use. These are, so I have a lot of options to pick from. I actually have a library just of electricity sparking sound effects. He asked, is it hard for me to figure out, is it difficult choosing the tracks? So, yes, I would say so. I would say it is. I'm going to turn on some pleasant music, I guess, while we do this, because it feels weird talking into thin air, I guess. So, I'm going to actually send you guys on Discord, not on Twitch, but on Discord, a link to a folder containing the sounds I used, so that you can mess around with this. And you can get Audacity free from audacity.sourceforge.net. It's totally free, and you'll be able to do all the stuff I did with your copy of Audacity that I did with mine. I didn't use any extra custom plugins or anything. So let's do this real quick here. And I'll send you the sample file as well. Come on. Because some people actually might want to do this. And the reason why I'm not going to be sending this on Discord or on Twitch is because the link, I'm not going to keep the link up I'm not going to keep the link up indefinitely, pretty much. So let's do this real quick. Oops. Let's do this. Oops. I didn't mean to. Crap. Alright, excellent stuff. Okay, I'm gonna put this into my Dropbox and then you can grab it. I'll keep it up for a few weeks or something. For anyone who's listening to this in the future on YouTube, I may do another one of these, designing a different sound, but I'm not sure yet. I'm still thinking about it. And there's other Stumpinars in the pipeline after this one, so there's the link. It's in Discord for anyone who wants to check out this work and do their own interpretation. There's 12 sounds here. That means you can mix and match these and do some really interesting things. It doesn't have to be the sequence that I put in, of course. So if there's anything else, I don't really think there is. So I'm going to turn off the recording